Hi, Grandma Bev from Life with Grandma Bev, and welcome to this week's Ride Along with Us. That's right, I have a chauffeur today, Mr. Bob. So we're in his car, so I'm having to hold this, hold my camera. But anyway, we are not going to go to any stores today, but we are going up to what is called Dosewallips RV park, and it's a state-run park, and it's one of our favorites to go to. Now, we are not going up there to go camping, but one of Bob's distant relatives is out here from, I think it's Kansas, and they're making a ride through there. They're going up 101 all the way around, and asked if we'd like to come see them, so of course we did. So they invited us over today for a barbecue, so that's where we're heading. Now, Dosewallips, I don't know if any of you will remember, but a few years back I did videos on it, and it was where all the elk were. So I'm hoping we'll still get to see the elk. So we are now on what we call Highway 3, which is the freeway that I take, into Silverdale, but it's the opposite direction, and it's just down to one lane each way. So we are headed to the Hood Canal Bridge, which is is that a floating bridge on it? Yeah, it's a floating bridge. So fingers crossed they won't be closing it to let some boats through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back on right before we get to the bridge, and I'll have you turn the other way so you can see the scenery and stuff, okay? Okay, we are just about to the bridge. This is where we turn left to go across it, and we can't see up there, but one or two things. Either there's an accident on the bridge because there's nobody coming off that exit there heading this way, or they opened the bridge to let a boat go through, or a submarine or something like that. So a little bit of trivia here. This is the longest floating bridge across salt water in the world. The only problem is, like we said, they've got to open and close it every so often, which can be a pain. Because on the other side, you're lined up way up back the road. And on this side, you could be too, but we were really close before it happened. There's a truck up there, but I don't know why he isn't moving up, so a few more people could get turned. And then I could probably see up there. So I'm going to turn this off until we start moving. So be patient. Okay. 25 minutes later, and we are moving. I wonder if I can see whatever boat went through. I just see a little sailboat out there, but I don't see anything big. Anyway, this is it. Get a good view. You can't really see between there, the fence. But you can see. Now, if it was a submarine that went through, we probably wouldn't see it. But the sub base is right down a little ways, so they do go through. Isn't this pretty? It is kind of hazy out because there are fires in the state of Washington going on, as well as Canada, and so you never know what your air quality is going to be. Yesterday it was considered moderate. But looking over this other way, there's a fire going on down south from here. You can see all the traffic that's coming across opposite, opposing us. And then way up ahead, you can see them going up the hill. So it gets backed up quite a few miles. I'm going to go over the little grate. You see something way down there, like a boat, but I don't know how it got through there so fast when it took so long. But what always interests me is over to the right here, the water is always real wavy and kind of, rough. But when you get over to this side, it's not. Now, what are the odds? We're supposed to be where we're going in 10 minutes, and we will not be there in 10 minutes. Just never know when that bridge is going to do its thing. Now, when you're further back on Highway 3, there's signs that tell you that the bridge is closing, or that it's closed. So if you do have the option to go a different way, you can. We don't have the option going this way to where we're heading. When we get up through here, I'll show you how traffic is backed up. Because they're still not quite totally moving. Let's see, it's backed up all this way. Which is nice when we have the motorhome, because you always have our potty, we have our food, so you know, I feel sorry for people in the cars who maybe need to use the facilities and just can't, because there's nothing around it. You can't even get out and walk anywhere. A person hanging out their window waving towards a certain way. Maybe the cars weren't moving fast enough to suit her. She's probably out there yelling, "Hey, I gotta go potty!" see how far back it's. Look at this. This is way up. We're going to be seeing that line for quite a while. So you can imagine how long the line was coming from back behind us, coming across this way. We were one of the fortunate ones that were towards the front of the line. I wonder if somebody's trying to make a left. Of course, they're stopped on the other side too, heading the other way. Now, when we take the motorhome in to be worked on, we come up through this way to go to the town of Squim. That's one of the few places around us that services the Winnebago brand. At least it's a pretty drive, you know. Just people out of the car here. I know what they're doing. Maybe they're waiting for their car. Maybe they got out and started walking and waiting for their cars to catch up to them. And I didn't see why we had to stop like we did. Because there were no streets for a way to make a turn. But look at that, see how far back? About how many miles have we gone so far? You know?
I don't know.
Since the bridge. Well, there's a sign for slow or stop traffic ahead on this side, so maybe that's why the cars stopped. You can imagine it was probably pretty long the other way from where we came, because it is commuting time and people are gotten off the bridges, or not the bridge, but the ferries from Seattle, so people are coming this way to go home on this part of Washington. So okay, we're through it now. I'll turn you off for a while, and as we get closer to the state park, I'll come back on. We are now heading southwest to go down to the campgrounds. We're on the other side of the Hood Canal after going across the bridge, so we're not very far away from our destination. However, we are late. After a 25-minute waste of time. But you can imagine if the sky was very blue, how pretty it is. We look through here. So we are now actually on Highway 101. And the park is in the town of Brinnon, Brinnon. And there's a little store there, you know, there's a very little town. But they do sell firewood at the park as well as at that little town store. Pay a lot for it, and it may not be the driest wood. Sometimes when we've bought it, it's been a little wet. Pardon my movement as he's hitting bumps. My arm is moving too. This highway, if we were to be heading north on it, takes you all the way up around through Squim and Port Angeles, and then Forks, and then from Forks it starts heading back down south again along the ocean. Now the whole road isn't along the ocean, but it takes you down there where we've gone on our little trips over to the ocean in April's. It's a long drive if you've got the time, and that's what these people are doing. They've got their I guess it's a Class C motorhome, you know, with a cab over, and they're just going all the way around. I don't know if this is their first time in Washington or not. We met them about 5 years ago when they were visiting down in California with Bob's family, and we happened to be going through on our way home from Yuma. At some point here we're going to see the water, and then we'll be on the left. Water in the distance. That is the Hood Canal. I was really surprised that these people were able to get into this park, because you have to make the reservations months and months and months ahead. We do that. We used to do that when we were working. Every weekend we'd get home on Friday and take off. Let's see if I can give you a view of the water. And I'd start making the reservations 9 months ahead of time when they first opened up the reservation season. See it. They're pretty. They just called, I guess, yesterday to make the reservation and got one, so pretty lucky. Now, if you tried to get in last weekend, the July 4th holiday weekend, there's no way. I'm gonna turn this off for a little bit till we get a little bit closer. you can see the tidelands over here to my left. And we are coming into beautiful downtown Brennan. Yay! So we're just about exactly 25 minutes late getting here, which was the amount of time we spent in line waiting for that bridge. They got a real pretty nursery over here to the right. Whitney Gardens. It's got a gift shop and all kinds of stuff. Over here on the left was that little store. And on the right, there's a halfway house restaurant. We've eaten there. Yeah, it's okay. We're coming up to it. Dosewallips State Park. Now we gotta watch out for the elk. This is the time of day when they started coming out when we've stayed here. What's really funny is when you wake up in the morning sometimes and you're surrounded by elk. I was hoping they weren't turning in there to where we'd have to wait for them, but right just in front of us. Here we go. The day use area is over here to our left, and this is the area into the park. Now, the last time we came here, we stayed right down in here. This last, not this quite this part, but the last part. Yeah, right there where that motorcycle is. We stayed in that spot. When we first started coming here, like 30 years ago, I'd say, the trees were not very tall. And now they've definitely grown. Coming up to the ranger station. Over here to the left, they have what's called a group area. So people want to come up here with groups. They can reserve that area. Oh, they got the sign up to do not approach the elk. So they must still be around. No good, they didn't stop. They're going through. Doesn't look like it's open there, honey. We expected that we'd have to pay a day fee to go in here. Well, that's a new bathroom there. So we are looking for number A17. Here's an interesting little tidbit too. Over here to the left, first time we came here, we stayed in a spot and a kid walked up with a cute kitten. And that cat ended up going home with us. He became our cat we called Rambo. Or not Rambo, excuse me. Kitty. Oh my God, Kitty's probably turning over in her grave. And she loved camping. She'd ride in the motor home with us, sit in my lap. And on the way home, both she and I would be in bad moods because we didn't want to go home.
That's taking Florida.
Oh, I thought I saw cars through there. I mean, okay. Okay, we were looking for 17. Where the numbers start, what direction? Okay, that's 71 through 80. So they'll probably be on our left, you think?
All the way through.
All the way through, okay. So these are actually in the shape of like cul-de-sacs. And over here to the left, you see there's some of the cabins that you can rent. Let's see, over here is a good example. You can see the cul-de-sac, it goes in and around. What we like about these spaces is there's a lot of room in between them. Look at how tall the trees have gone since we started coming. They were so short before. 21, oh, in here, honey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we come. We're coming. In fact, we've stayed in here, I think. Now you can see in the center, got a trees growing up from it. So I'm going to shut this off until, stay positive, until the elk come around. Now this is the park that the elk all come hang around. So this is the time of the evening. They're not quite in the campground yet, but on our way out of the campground, over in the day part, you can see them all over there. So pretty. Well, we are coming back across the bridge to go back home. So you can tell it's starting to get a little darker. It is 9:37. We left the park at 9 o'clock. So this is how it is when we're not in a line waiting to get across. So there's a lot of cars heading west, the other direction. So I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed seeing the elk. If you like this video, you know what to do. Comment below, share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you're all going to having a wonderful weekend. I love you all. Bye.